Hello and welcome to day 18 of 24 recipes until Christmas. Today we're making polvo à lagareiro. We're making octopus with potatoes in the oven, and it is super easy and delicious and an impressive dish to make for Christmas Eve. For this dish, I'm using the leftover octopus that we made our octopus rice last week. I took the tentacles and froze them, and I took them out last night. I'm gonna link two different videos, the one from the octopus rice and the one from polvo galega, to show you two different methods of cooking your octopus. Once you've cooked your octopus, you can continue with this recipe. We're also gonna be using potatoes, and usually you'd want smaller potatoes to make this dish. Unfortunately, my grocery store either had these sizes potatoes or tiny little yellow potatoes. You want a yellow potato and you want it like a mid-sized potato. We're gonna use these ones, so I'm only using one potato per person. We're also gonna need garlic cloves, parsley, and cilantro. I know cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, you can just use parsley. We're gonna need olive oil, salt and pepper, and that is all. Since our octopus is already cooked, we're gonna start off by boiling our potatoes until they are fully cooked. We've washed them and we're gonna cook them whole. So let's get into that. Bora cozinhar. So I'm gonna cook my potatoes just straightforward, and then I'll see you back here after my potatoes are cooked. While we wait for our potatoes, we can make our topping that's gonna go over our octopus and potatoes. And for that, we're gonna use the mini food prep. You want everything diced finely. You can also just use, a knife and dice it finely. So into that, I'm gonna put in 6 cloves of garlic and half a cup of olive oil. You want good quality olive oil. And I'm gonna put a cup of parsley and like half a cup of cilantro and half a cup of parsley. If you do not like cilantro, you can just do a cup of parsley. I find that cilantro adds a lot of flavor, to any fish dish. So we are using cilantro, but I completely understand that some people don't like cilantro. So I'm just removing the little stems, some of the bigger stems, and we're gonna add in some salt and pepper. And I'm just using freshly ground pepper. And now let's blitz that up into a paste almost. So after you're done pureeing, or grinding, you will end up with this kind of paste. This is very similar as to what the Argentinian cuisine uses as chimichurri sauce, but chimichurri has there's some heat in it and some vinegar. So no vinegar and no heat in this. And we're gonna be using it on top of our octopus and potatoes when it goes in the oven. And I like to transfer it to a glass jar. And you can use this on grilled meats. It's fantastic on grilled chicken or grilled steak. Highly recommend you make something like this. You can also, if you like a little bit of heat, you can put a jalapeno in it and do that. It's fantastic to have on chicken and also as a marinade. So we're gonna reserve that to put on our octopus. And we're still waiting for the potatoes. I'm also preheating my oven at 350. So I was able to secure some small potatoes, and this is what you're looking for. You don't want those big potatoes. I was able to get the small potatoes, cook them in water for 20 minutes with a bit of sea salt, and I have the oven warming up at 400. So now I'm gonna give them a tap. You want to burst open your potatoes. You wanna squish them, and we're gonna put them in an oven-safe dish to go in the oven. So you just give them a little tap, and then we're gonna transfer them to our dish. So now we smushed up all our potatoes. We are going to give it a little bit of salt. I'm using sea salt, just the rock salt, and just give it a bit of salt. And now we're going to place our octopus on top of our potatoes. So we're just placing our octopus on top of our potatoes, like so. And now we're going to give it some olive oil on top. I'm going to drizzle it a little bit more with salt, and that's going to help the octopus crust up a little bit. So now we're going to put it in the oven for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, we're going to take it out and we're going to top it with our mixture that we made of the garlic, parsley, cilantro, and olive oil. The reason why we don't put it on now is that we don't want the garlic to burn and the parsley and the cilantro, because we are putting it in at 400 in the oven to crisp up our potatoes and our octopus. So let's put it in the oven for 15 minutes and then we'll come back and top it. It's been 15 minutes, it's out of the oven, and we're gonna top it with the sauce that I made. This is not typical polvo lagareiro. Usually you would heat up some olive oil with some slivered garlic and pour over at this stage. I've gone ahead and I've made this sauce like the chimichurri sauce, and we're gonna top it with this sauce now. So you want to be generous with the sauce and just top it all over. And like I mentioned before, if you're not a fan of cilantro, you can always just leave it out and use parsley. Or you can do it the traditional way and just heat up some olive oil with some garlic and pour it over at this stage. So at this stage, I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil. And we're going to put it back in the oven for another 5 minutes, still at 400. Our octopus is out of the oven and we're ready to serve. So to serve it, you want to serve some potatoes at the bottom and then top it with the octopus. So I'm just going to take this tentacle and with some potato. So now comes the most difficult part of this dish. Let's taste it. Like I mentioned before, to make this dish traditionally, you can just make it with some olive oil and garlic. You heat up the olive oil and then with the garlic cloves in it, and then you pour it over and you return it to the oven for another 5 minutes. I chose to make this chimichurri type sauce to go over. I think it complements the octopus really well. So now let's have a taste. It's delicious. The octopus is nice and tender. It's the octopus that we cooked last week in the oven, so it's perfect consistency. The potatoes are nice and soft and a bit crispy, and the sauce that we made over, the chimichurri, has lots of garlic. There's lots of garlic, lots of flavor in it. The key to this dish is the olive oil and the garlic. The cilantro and the parsley just complement it really well. I highly suggest you make this meal. It is super simple and quick to make. You can cook the octopus a day before. You can even cook your potatoes a day before, and then you assemble the dish, and once it goes in the oven, it's fairly quick. Let me know if you make it. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I post my next recipe. Hope to see you again soon, and thanks for watching.